We're going to be making this transition. Now you can use this transition for just about anything, but we're going to be making it for the ATEM switcher. So we're going to be making a fill and a key source, and that's towards the end. You can kind of skip those steps if you're just going to be using this transition for something else. I did make a video on how to make assets for OBS and like a transition. So if you want to do that, you can, and that kind of uses the alpha channel baked into the video clip, since you're going to be just taking the video clip and playing it through OBS. But we're going to be towards the end of this video making it with both of the sources or both of the files, so that we're going to have two different sources that will then come together in the ATEM switcher, so that we can have a transition. So that's something that I wanted to say. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to let you know about this is that throughout this video, I was having background music because I was streaming this over on Twitch. You can come over to Twitch, where I'm going to be doing this more often. But one of the things that I did that now I know from editing is that I had the audio from the computer and my mic going through the same channel into the switcher. And so now when I'm editing it, since they're both in the same channel, I can't separate them, and so sometimes the audio or the music is kind of high, so it's hard to hear me in some areas. It's still a good video to learn how to make a transition if this is a particular style that you would be interested in. So without further ado, let's just jump in. Before we get started with today's video, I just wanted to let you know about my website, jrtv.com, where we have hundreds of different templates available for DaVinci Resolve 17, 16, and 15. All of them are backwards compatible with the newest version of DaVinci Resolve. If you haven't taken a look, the selection of templates is pretty diverse, with everything that you would typically think when you think templates, everything from titles, transitions, infographics, logo stings, slideshows, video displays, video effects, compositing elements, as well as a bunch of color preset tools specifically for DaVinci Resolve's color page. If you're interested in taking a look for yourself, there's a link in the description. All right, so let's go and make this 60 frames. All right, we'll hit OK. And then since we're in Resolve 17, we don't actually have to make a fusion. Actually, you know what? I am going to make one because I want it to be shorter. So transition is just going to be 1 second. Drop that onto the timeline. So now I have to try to figure out how I want this to look. I think I'm going to try the shape stuff. So shape like rectangle, and then we'll do like shape duplicate, and then we'll get like something like that. Oh, shape renderer we need as well. All right, so once we have all of that, we'll bring this up, and for now let's just go with like a gray. Perfect. And then we can they still didn't change the on-screen controls, which is kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. All right, so then let's play around with duplicating this a couple of times. So I know that there's like some funky offset stuff that you can do, but I've never really messed with it much. All right. Okay, so if I did that and then we did this like on like a 45, obviously we'd need to change this a bit. This skinnier, maybe longer. Is there any way to randomize this so that they all come in at different points? Maybe I could do like a grid. From that. Ooh, that's one. So I'm gonna have to make a lot of iterations of this to get it to look half decent. So I don't think I'd actually want to do that. I think I would then want to do like a drop shadow off of that. Back up that blur just a little bit. And let's increase the strength so we can just see it. So I'm guessing that if I just make a lot of copies of this, Maybe not so much on this strength. What is it? Normally 0.5? Okay, that might be a bit better. If I duplicated that and then changed the color slightly, and then just had this do like a different, and obviously, you know. So if then I did like I wouldn't want to do a transform. I just put this back into itself, right? And then we like flipped it to get to go the other way, and then had it rotate. That kind of works, but kind of doesn't work because of the drop shadows. Okay, so instead of doing it that way, easy thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make this 3000, 3000. And for this, we're gonna go like that. Now we're just going to copy that. Do the same thing with this, but have the color slightly different. Actually, I want another one. This one is going to be shaped slightly different as well. And it's also going to be a different color. Ooh, I don't know what color this should be. Oh, I don't think that's the accurate one. There we are. Alright, so that is that, but we want this to be slightly smaller, because it's just going to be an accent. Wait, size? Yeah, that's going to be it. So then put that on top, put this over, then in here, go like that, and we can put this on a 45. Trying to think of ways to make it look a little more randomized, because right now it looks like one big unit, different lengths is moving together. Okay, so maybe instead instead of it going that way, or I can just do it in here, I can just flip this so it goes the other way. Right? So that would kind of work. And then we just need to do like a bunch of layers of this. What if I like change this to like a second and a half? Is not everything is covered in the middle, right here. If I took everything, pasted it, this might be like a cheesy way of doing this. But then we took everything on the end here, and then just changed their position. We did that, and then we made things a bit big. Ooh, no, that's not what we do. Make it look even cooler if we take this, come over into here. I know how to do this, but that's not the right way to do it. Alright, so we'll take all of this stuff, stretch it out. coming out of each one of these, we'll do wait. It's already on an angle here. Where does the angle happen? Okay, so here we go transform, and then here we take the size. Why can't I see this? What I'm doing? Okay, make it smaller. And then we go mirror edges, and that's what we do. So that goes there. After this renderer, one goes there. After this renderer, one goes there. Now what does it look like? Okay, that's looking a lot better. Add some more complexity in there very easily. And now we put this and this together, our top and bottom pieces. And now we're looking like we have a pretty, oh gosh, there is still spots. Damn it. Okay, so what if we flip this? That looks even more, but there's too much red. So what I need to do is I need to get the color version like this, right? So this is the color version. This is going to be our fill. And then I need to get the alpha version, which is this. So when I come back, we can see our alpha channel, because what we'll then do is when we have both of those, we take both of those feeds into our playback machine, which then we're able to do transitions like this, right? With the switcher. Because the switcher itself, I can't put a video file into the switcher that has an alpha channel. I can only put a video feed in, and so you need to have, you know, a key feed as well. So I need to render both of these out. Now, the way that Fusion currently works is if I do like a saver. Where did that go? It didn't even open? Okay, maybe it doesn't open anymore. So if I have a saver, I can save the file, but it's limited on my like options here. Compared to if I come over here and we look at these savers, there's like plethora of different options, right? So I can't really pick like the format and stuff in this version. So that's why I always call both Fusions completely different, because there are a lot of differences between the two. And this is obviously one of them. This sucks, but because I don't know another way of doing this, is I could do it one of two ways. One, I could say, okay, yeah, I'm done. So now I will take this and I'll duplicate it and then do both. Or I could just go in and, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna say, okay, I'll take both of these, come over here. Now just changing this, our viewer, doesn't really do anything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use a bitmap, because I feel like that's gonna be the easiest. Come into here and then the alpha, have that go out. And that will be our key. So there we have our key and our fill. So now that we have both of those, we can go over to the deliver page and export them in any format that we want that our playback can use. So I'm just going to do just super default settings. Hold on 1 second. I need to switch so I can pick a location. So doom 10, 29, 1, 2. At some point I'll explain everything that I'm doing here, but I just pretty much have on my network, I have a share that has a location that I can store everything. And then that same location is accessible by the playback. So if I ever on the fly need to change something, I can change, as long as the file's not being read, I can change the file And then on next playback, it'll be the updated version. So if I ever needed to change things, this would be the way that I would personally do it. So I'm going to name this for, okay, so I already did this wrong. So I'm just gonna hit save for now. So it just puts in its location. But the first one, what I'm gonna do is I want this one. So I'm gonna go to render this clip, and hopefully it renders to this point. I'm not sure which point it's gonna render to. I think it renders to the end like that, which then this will be the dead frame. Actually, for this, it doesn't matter. Okay, so anyways, so transitions. So this is going to be transition 01 fill. Okay, so then I just hit render this, click on this one, render this clip, call this key, and then we'll go render this clip, and now we will render them. And I don't know what this is gonna do while I'm streaming. I don't know, we'll find out here. Best of luck. Okay, it definitely needs some work. All right. All right. Add to queue, replace. All right, and then I'm gonna go back in and add that bitmap in. Obviously connected up incorrectly. Have it go into here and just make sure we're on alpha. Good, we're on alpha. Showing the alpha, good. And in here we'll just type in key, add, replace, yes. Okay, so now looks a lot better. And then this one. Okay, so now that I have both of those, this is the part that I don't really know all that well. So I can't show you this because it's on a different system. Actually, you know what? I can show you this. Hold on. So if I go over here, and then, how would I do this? Here. And then I go like that. Okay, you guys can see this. So now, in here, I'm going to add, so click on this input, add source, and then we're going to call this, there we are. Okay, so then in here, we're going to call this, I don't know, it doesn't matter. 01 fill. Sure. We add it in, and then I'm picking my location. My location is that system that I was telling you about, which I don't see. There it is. All right, and then in here, transitions, and then that was the fill. So then we have the fill. The only things we have to make sure that we pick on here is close file when inactive, so that it will allow us, I believe, to make changes if we need to. If we were like working with like a team that are changing these files. I think that is everything. Okay, so then we just hit apply. And where did that go? Okay, that went up here. So I'm just going to put that into here, and then I'm gonna add another one. And we're gonna call this 01 key and add this in. We're gonna go and get the key, add that on, and then close when inactive. We don't need anything else, I don't believe. So then we add that on, and I'm gonna put that down here. So now I have input 5. So let's go to input 5, which is this one. This is gonna be too difficult. Hold on a second. Yeah, this isn't gonna work Oh wait, yes it will, because I can move this over to this screen. Okay, so now I can go to input 5, and I will go over to that. And then in here, when I play the fill, it'll go like that. Okay, cool. So now, the next thing that we need to do, let's come back over to here. I'll move this back onto this monitor. So the next thing we need to do is we need to get these into a program that I use called Companion, which allows you to do like a bunch of different functions all at the same time. And I have to go to that system quick, 129.1.7. And then I can pull that up on my main screen, so it'll make it a little easier for me over here. So then we'll just, still trying to figure this out. Bear with me. All right, so we're going to, we're gonna go like that, transition over to here. So that transition is what we're pretty much making. So now that we're over here, pop me back on. All right, so I'm not like super knowledgeable in this. There's obviously people that are more knowledgeable. I wonder if there's a way to duplicate this. Is there a way? Copy, no. Press the button you want to copy. Where do you want to copy it? Haha. Okay. So that made it a little bit better. We'll just name this one T2. Okay, I'm gonna move this keyboard for now. All right, so what it's doing is on the switcher itself, it's turning on keyer 2. And let me actually pull up my switcher so I can show you this. What is this crazy music right now? Okay, we're done with that. All right, so over here is my switcher. So this is my keyer 2. When the keyer 2, I use input 5 and input 6 for the two sources. So when I push this button, it's going to turn on the keyer, and then it's then going to make visible those the things that were in OBS, right? It's going to turn them on, because that when they're turned on as active, that's when they play. That's how it's set up currently. So if I come into here, will it show me my other things? Okay, so it will. So actually, if I come into here and I go fill, and then I come into here, this is cool that it like updates automatically in here. And then I have that. Now, because my new transition, the timing's 1.5 seconds instead of a second, I'm going to have to change my timings here. But let's see if this works. All right, where are we transitioning to? So if I do that, okay, it didn't do anything. Why didn't it do anything? Okay, so why didn't it do that? Let's go back over to 8 and see. Okay, because they're currently on. So if I turn them off, and now I hit that button, I didn't even see. Did it work? I was on the wrong screen. Okay, so it works, but the transition isn't happening at the right time. So then I would just have to change this to like, there we go. Now it's working. All right, so now I have a new transition, and as easy as that, you have a new transition. So we first turn on the keyer. We then trigger both of the key and the fill. And then in the middle, while these two are playing, it's then going to do the transition in the background while the whole screen's covered. And then after that, when everything's done, it then turns off the keyer. It then turns both of the things in OBS to not be visible anymore. That's what the visible false means. So it turns it off. So then when I want to trigger it again, it will automatically do the playback because it's now being reactive. And that's an option that in OBS that's there. So I didn't really cover much of the setup here. So I have my main computer, which, you know, I do like play games, tutorials, whatever it is, the camera. And then I have a playback system, which has 2 graphics cards. They're like, well, when they were first out, they weren't low end, but now they're kind of like lower end, but you just need as many outputs as possible. So I have 4, 5, 6, I have 7 outputs in my playback system. It's not like a crazy spec, it's just playing back video. And then in OBS, I then have, and maybe I should make a whole video going over how all of it works for people that are interested in that. But yeah, so I have all of that stuff. So yeah. And I decided to stream on Twitch. I was going to make a transition. I made the transition. Then I wanted to put it in, get it to work. Everything's working now. And now the next thing I'm going to do is with the switcher, I have the ISO version, so it's recording all of the channels individually. I want to edit it and then be able to show that whole workflow. So right now it's streaming and recording, which is pretty cool. And my system isn't doing any of that. So yeah, that's pretty much what I did. And I've been streaming here for 1 hour and 10 minutes to myself. Hopefully you guys join me over on Twitch. I will be streaming over there a little more regularly. My idea currently, and maybe I should switch. My idea currently is to stream over there, just random stuff, hanging out kind of thing, trying to figure out what I'm going to, like creating stuff. When you sit there, because in all honesty, majority of all creators don't create stuff like as you would see in like a tutorial. It takes a little while and you're fiddling with things until you figure out what you want things to look like. So I think on Twitch, I'm going to be doing the majority of that. And then on YouTube, I'll live stream there as well. But it's going to be like a live stream of a tutorial, like kind of a somewhat already figured out tutorial. It's going to be a tutorial there where then if there are people in chat, they can ask the questions. And then at the end, there'll be Q&A as well. I think that that's what I'm going to do with the 2 different platforms. We'll see. Things could change. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. So yeah, since I'm streaming to myself, done talking to myself, I'm out of here. Peace.